Hello and welcome to this show. Today's episode we will be talking about a condition called postpartum depression, which is a depressive disorder affecting women soon after childbirth. Not all women, a few. This is an initiative from the WOW Mind and Behavior Clinic based out of Chennai. It is powered by a group of very resourceful young people, out of whom Kritika reached out to me and asked if we could do this. I was only too happy to help. To answer our queries on postpartum depression, we have here Dr. Srividya, a practicing OBGYN for more than 15 years and a very dear friend. Thank you for agreeing to be part of this, Vidya.
You're welcome and hello, good afternoon all of you.
Just a little bit about mental disorders. It has so far not got its due importance in our society. It has been ignored, derided, brushed under the carpet. But now help is available and mental health professionals are providing a service for which WOW is doing a stellar job. So we really appreciate this. Now coming to the topic of the day. Childbirth is an exciting, life-changing, tumultuous experience for any woman. She will expect to feel joy, anxiety, excitement, but she may not expect to feel mood swings or a feeling of being detached from her child. This is a condition which is called baby blues, which is the mildest form of postpartum depression, and it can affect up to 80% of people. So what is baby blues? What causes it? Vidya.
Okay, the postpartum depression is a big topic. And actually, as Dr. Sumitra was saying, it just starts, the mildest form of it is called as a puerperal blues or baby blues, which is seen in many women, but we generally ignore it, thinking that it's a part of life and it doesn't need much treatment. This happens in almost, if you look at the percentage, it's almost like 70 to 80% may undergo postpartum blues. So in this condition, it is a mild variety wherein there is some amount of restlessness, minimum anxiety, and mood swings and crying spells and all these, all this. They're not found any basic reason why postpartum blues occur. Could be something to do with the tryptophan metabolism, is what has been said. But actually, there have not been exactly a cause saying that this is because of this particular thing. And all this needs is just a help. Being among people, and this is what, see, all these depressive disorders of late is becoming more common. Mainly I would attribute, at least in a country, Asian country like India, we didn't have much of these, was not talked about earlier, mainly because most of them in at least 2 generations beyond had a joint family system wherein you always had someone to depend upon, you always had someone to help when you had just delivered a baby and coping with all the neonatal problems of the babies and all these things.
True.
But over the time, we are just seeing that as we are going ahead in life, we are just seeing that we are getting more and more of nuclear families, and especially in the cities, the couple are just staying by themselves. They may not have anyone to come and help them out, or they may not, so the wife has to just depend on the husband and the husband on the wife. There's no one else. So this could be one of the reasons why we are seeing it more in incidents of late. But if you look at the Western countries, they have just found that even in Western countries, it's among the people who are generally staying alone. So whenever you have community support, whenever you have your relatives or your parents or anyone staying and helping you out, generally it is on a lesser side.
True. I remember when I had the baby, I had these unexplained crying spells, and I was wondering what was going wrong. I couldn't really pinpoint it to any particular problem, and I had no one to reach out to, least of all my bewildered husband. So other changes which you can make at home, rather other measures you can take at home, would be get plenty of water, sunshine, and as she said, try to talk to other new moms so that you can share your experiences, and that definitely helps. They also say don't make any major life changes at this time. Alright, so then Dr. Vidya, is the dramatic drop in the estrogen and progesterone levels in the system, which have been the highest ever during pregnancy, So this
is one of the propounded theory, wherein because there is sudden drop, estrogen and progesterone are the two hormones. Basically, progesterone is very high when the woman is pregnant. So once there is childbirth, these hormones are going to drop, and prolactin starts acting more. Prolactin is antagonistic to estrogen as well as progesterone. So once it becomes antagonistic, so you'll have the hormones dropping, because breastfeeding has to take more importance now. So because of this, these level of hormones being dropping also is one of the theories that they say that could happen, leading to all these simple things like postpartum blues, or to some extent even postpartum depression.
Sure. And so what percentage of women get baby blues? It is said almost 8 in every 10 women can be susceptible to baby blues. But postpartum depression is much
Postpartum depression is much lesser. In fact, for the estrogen and the progesterone drop that Dr. Sumitra was talking about, this is more, it is given as a cause for postpartum depression more than the puerperal blues. So 10 to 15% is the incidence of postpartum depression that we see. There may be so many depressions that actually we might not have recognized. It might be more, but what has been recognized and what we have the statistics show 10 to 15%.
I was asking, how do I know I have postpartum depression? What are the signs?
See, one thing is we may not have a sure shot sign to say, other than of course it borders on from postpartum blues. You have something like anxiety, excessive crying and all this. This will definitely be a part of postpartum depression, but more important is the feeling of hopelessness. I am not able to keep up to the job of being a mother properly. This baby probably could be taken care by someone else better. So these are the things, and always feeling low self-esteem. Basically, this is how low self-esteem, not being able to stand up, thinking that maybe I'm not good for this job, maybe I'm not a good mother, and these are a few very subtle things that actually show that a woman may be getting into postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is like any other depression, where a female will have low self-esteem, not feeling good about herself. It's like any other routine depression that any one of us may face in a non-pregnant period also. So the signs are going to remain the same, except that here we have a presence of a newborn child, and we add additional things associated with it, saying that I will not be able to take care of this child, someone else will do a better job, this is not for me. So all these things.
True.
But when these things border on and become much more and more and more, that is when it goes to the level of postpartum psychosis.
Okay. Which is a much more serious condition. Are some women more at risk? Like people who've already been diagnosed with some depressive disorder?
Exactly. People who have already been diagnosed with bipolar disorders are much more at risk, because they already have this history in the past, and it aggravates during the postpartum period. It also is seen generally in very young girls when they get pregnant. Absolutely. Less than 20 years of age. And if they again are, educationally, when they are not so well qualified, sound, so they are also can get. Why? Because it's not that educationally sound mothers get into depression. It's not because of that. It's because they don't understand what is really happening with them. Whereas when education, it actually gives us the edge, knowing that this may happen and we are prepared for it.
Okay. So what differentiates the milder baby blues from the more serious PPD is that baby blues is self-limiting.
Yes.
It goes away in a week or so.
Yes.
And postpartum depression may last longer, and you may need to seek help.
Postpartum depression can last anywhere starting, maybe a week after the delivery. It may go up to 1 year also. Postpartum depression is not limited only to the female counterpart. Postpartum depression can get onto the fathers too.
Wow. Okay.
So this is one thing. So they may also be affected by it.
Alright. Because
of the same reasons. They are not being able to stand up to the parental pressures, taking care of a child and all these things. Same thing. It should be the same phenomenon.
True. Except that there's no hormones at play there, but they're still equally vulnerable
to it. Correct.
Alright. Now you were mentioning the condition called postpartum psychosis, which is the severest form. And what are the signs of this?
Postpartum psychosis is the worst form, although the percentage is very, very less. It has been found that, especially in developed countries, I think, again, when you have been alone, and when you get, what is the worst part about the postpartum psychosis is when they start getting suicidal tendencies. This is when it has gone on to a psychotic behavior, that we know that. Now, even in postpartum depression, extreme case, women can have suicidal tendencies, but this happens more so in case of postpartum psychosis.
And so they feel empty, emotionless.
They feel void. They do not have emotions, and at the same time they have this, they feel like killing their own child. It can go to that level. That's the worst part about postpartum. Yes. Yeah, that is the worst part about postpartum psychosis. It is now because of probably in the past 10 years or 15 years so, mental health has started taking more of importance in our country. It was not so, because people are not used to the fact that such a thing can happen in postpartum period. I do not know how much are aware. There was there was a wonderful Kannada movie which was done long ago, wherein it actually dealt with postpartum psychosis, and people just call her that she's crazy, she has become mad. That's all. So it is a well-known fact, except that now we are getting
that it is an organic condition
which can happen.
It is not a character flaw, it is not a weakness, it is an actual organic state, and it's bad enough to feel empty and loss of connection with your child, but having thoughts of harming the child, that's really when you need to seek help. And how can it be treated? How can depression be treated?
Postpartum depression in the mild form will again need family support and making the women feel better. So all these mild reassurances is sufficient. But when it becomes a little bit moderate or severe form, then she will need some drugs. You have something called as serotonin reuptake inhibitors, fluoxetine, SSRIs. So selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, so which can be given to the women. And they will need some psychocognitive therapy.
Right.
But all said and done, the postpartum depression personally may first come to the gynecologist. But the moment the gynecologist is recognizing it, it more often becomes a treatment from the psychiatrist side. It cannot stay with the gynecologist, because the drugs that needed to be given have to be given by the psychiatrist.
Under supervision
and psychiatrist.
But then women always feel connected to the woman who delivered their baby.
So
the gynecologist is the person we always approach first. In fact, even for non-gynecological female disorders of any form, all of us would prefer to go to a woman because we connect better. So what would happen if it were not treated, if you just ignored it?
The worst form of depression, very severe form of depression, yes, as I told you, suicidal tendencies, a woman may kill herself and she may bring big harm to her child. So these are the worst of cases that can happen. And whenever we are suspecting that this can happen with this particular woman, she has to be immediately hospitalized. It's not even an in-house treatment anymore. So once you are hospitalized, take a further psychiatric evaluation, start her on the medications that is needed, then will come the behavioral therapy. But initially she will need all the medications like the SSRI, which is of course safe in breastfeeding. So women are worried whether it's safe in breastfeeding. More than the woman, she may not be able in a condition to exactly understand what's happening. But the question is, you may have the husband asking us this question whether it is safe. SSRI is safe in breastfeeding mothers. And the worst situation of postpartum psychosis can, they may need the therapy as much as the electroconvulsive therapy, that is ECT, that can be needed. But that is in a very, very, very severe case. Generally doesn't happen. But one thing that we should remember is these women have to be hospitalized. It cannot be an in-house treatment.
Right. And if they appear to be at risk of harming the baby, you need to get the baby away.
Yeah, exactly. Separation has to be done, because we do not know. It is not the woman to be blamed. It is too much of what is happening to her. She herself is not aware of what is happening. That is what is happening with all mental health issues. They are not aware of what is happening. If they were conscious enough to know what is happening, they wouldn't actually harm the child.
Absolutely.
So the baby has to be separated from the mother, and further treatment has to be given to her.
Okay. So I think that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Vidya, for your input.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time. And we will be happy to answer any questions.